What's going on, everybody? Didi here, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you some basic things you need to know before you start writing code in Haxe. So let's begin. Firstly, we have the class. The class is like the blueprint of your code. In Haxe, your class name must match the name of the .hx file it's being stored on. Otherwise, the compiler will throw an error. For example, if I rename this class from main to Haxe, save, and then try to build the program, it returns an error. But if I also change the name of the hx file to Haxe as well, and then try building again, it once again returns an error. This is because the build configuration is being stored on the build.hxml file. Now if I check that, as you can see, it's referring to the main class, which doesn't exist anymore. So if I change this to Haxe as well, save, and then try to build the program, it prints the output. Next up, we have the main function. This is the entry point where your program's execution starts. It is followed by a set of curly braces, which we call the body of the main function. Any code that we write, like our print statements, should be inside the body of the main function. Otherwise, the program will throw an error. Now, if I try to move this trace function before the body of the main function and then try to build the program, it throws the error. Now, if I try to do it after the main function, it once again throws the error. But if I put it inside the main function, the program builds successfully. The main function also starts with a bunch of words like static and function. These words define how the function behaves. We'll learn more about this in detail in later videos. Lastly, we have the trace function. The trace function is a built-in tool used to print output on the console, which we can use for debugging. At the end of the line, you notice a semicolon. This semicolon is called a statement terminator. We can use this to tell the system when a certain line of code ends. Think of it like adding a full stop at the end of a sentence. In languages such as Python, we usually end a line of code by adding a new line. But in languages with statement terminators, you can continue writing code on the same line after a statement terminator. For example, if I continue this trace function with another trace function and then save and build the program, it prints both the first and the second trace function in the output. This means we can continue writing several lines of code on the same line. But writing code in this way is not recommended in order to keep your code clean and readable. So, those were some basic things you needed to know before you start writing code in Haxe. See you all on the next video, and until then, adios.